What's shaking, my friends? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Shay, and today we are going to talk about all the things I read in the month of September. Overall, I had a pretty successful September reading month. It was my third best reading month of the year, which was fantastic after I had August and July, which were very much a disappointment in my reading quality and quantity. But I think I had some really great reads this month, so let's talk about it. As always, I'm going to go from my least rated book to my favorite book of the month. I did not have any DNFs this month, so that was a win. So we'll go ahead and start with my number 10 book of the month, and that's going to be One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I did pull this one, I think, out of my backlist jars last month, or the bag of backlist, and I have wanted to read Taylor Jenkins' backlist for a very long time. This follows our main character whose husband has died in a helicopter crash, and she is 3 years later, she's moved on, she's engaged again, she has a new love of her life, and then she gets the call that her husband is not dead and he is coming back. And then she has this dilemma of what is she going to do, because she has this new fiance and then she has her technically husband. And I did enjoy the relationships in this book. I thought that they were very, very well done. They felt very real. However, there were some choices that the main character made that just turned me off to the entire book, and I don't want to say anything else because I will spoil it, but that's what ended up giving it a 3-star for me. Coming in at number 9 is going to be The Bandit Queens by Parini Shroff, and if I mispronounce that, I'm really sorry. I pulled this book out of my new releases jar last month, and I overall enjoyed it. Of course, I gave it 3 stars. But this follows our main character whose husband has disappeared, and people think she really killed her husband. And so these people in the neighborhood then come and try to get her to off their husbands as well. There were some decisions in the last moments of the book that really took the rating down for me. Again, I can't say what those are because of spoilers, but I wanted to say that I overall did enjoy this book. If you like literary fiction, this does have some darker tones to it. Trigger warning for domestic abuse, those kinds of things. If that's okay with you and you don't mind reading that, I would suggest this book. I thought originally that this was going to be like a funny thing like Finlay Donovan, but it was more serious in tone. It did have its funny moments, but overall did give this book 3 stars and do recommend it if it sounds up your alley. Coming in at number 8 is going to be Legacy of the Vermilion Blade by Jay Talsquah. This book was kindly sent to me by the author for review, and I did read it. And this follows our main character, Talon, who has fallen in love as a young boy. He is great asexual representation at that, but the love of his life has become injured and he cannot be healed on their lands, and so a different race of people comes and takes him away. So the overarching plot is him trying to strengthen himself, better himself up in order to go and find his long lost love. So we are spanning a long period of time in this book, which kind of hindered my enjoyment a little bit. I gave it 3 stars, but I do overall recommend this book. This is a Spiffbo 9 contestant. I also love this cover. It's very beautiful, and the second book is coming out in October, and I will be reading the second book. Coming in at number 7 is going to be Still Guardian by Cameron Corral. I pulled this book out of my indie self-published jar last month, and I read it, and overall enjoyed it. I gave it this one 3 stars as well. This is following an AI robot. AIs have taken over the world, but you have a good AI and bad AIs, and humans, of course, hate all AI because AI has taken them over. And one day, our main character, AI bot, kind of runs into another bot who says, listen here, you've got to take my cargo and deliver it where it's supposed to go, keep it safe. And so he takes over this cargo and agrees to do this thing, except it is a baby, a human baby. And so this is the story of him trying to figure out, why is this human baby important? What is the deal with this human baby? I overall really enjoyed it. This is a series. I don't know if I'll continue on or not. I really did get a lot out of the first book, and I think it's something you would enjoy if you like sci-fi and quirky AI robots. Coming in at number 6, we're starting our 4-star reads. That's going to be The Legend of Blackjack by A.R. Witham. So I read this one out of my own jar last month, and I overall really enjoyed this. We have our main character who is a genius, and these creatures from a different world come and take him to their world because they think that he can heal them. They think he is a doctor, even though he's not. He's just this genius kid. And it starts from there, and they go on some wild adventures. And I really, really enjoyed this. The only thing that really hindered my enjoyment was the very fast-pacedness of this book. It's very, very plot-driven. I would highly, highly recommend it if you like plot-driven, fast-paced stories. I am going to recommend it to my daughter because I think this is perfect for that middle grade young adult age. Coming in at number 5 is going to be None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I have read some Lisa Jewell before and enjoyed it. I enjoyed this one as well. These have some unreliable narrators. We have our main character who does this podcast, and we have this other character who has these skeletons possibly in her closet. She goes on this woman's podcast and just tells them about her husband and the abuse that she has taken from her husband, and just overall their life story and how they came to be married and how their marriage has basically fallen apart. But there are some murders that happen, and is this woman telling you the truth or is she not? That is the question. Hence the title, None of This Is True. Is it true? Is it not? We don't know. That's what we're here to find out. I really liked it. It wasn't like a cookie cutter ending, which would have made the book better to me, because sometimes in mysteries, I really just want to know the answers. And I want to know, like, point blank, these are the answers. But this one is kind of left open to interpretation, but overall, I really enjoyed the book. Coming in at number 4, I finally dipped my toes into Brandon Sanderson's Secret Projects, and I read Tress of the Emerald Sea. The one word I can use to describe this book is charming. I loved the characters, I loved the world building, I loved it all. This follows our main character, Tress, and she has fallen in love with the nobility, and his name is Charlie. Of course, Charlie has a duty to his kingdom, and that is to wed somebody that is of his worth. Unfortunately, Tress is not of his worth, but they are stuck on this island, and they are told that they can never leave. Tress can never leave. However, Charlie has to go off the island in order to find himself a wife. But he tells Tress, I'm going to make myself the most boring person in the world, so nobody will want to marry me, because all I want to do is be with you. And so then the king, I guess, the king of this island comes back, and he doesn't have his son Charlie with him. Instead, they are told that Charlie has gone off to find the sorceress, because he has been told by his father, since he cannot find a bride in regular lands, he must sail the treacherous seas to convince the sorceress to marry him. And so this is Tress's journey in trying to sail the horrible seas to find her lover and rescue him from the sorceress, because the sorceress is bad news. The world building in this is fantastic. The seas, the treacherous seas, are made of ash, and there are different ash kind of seas that they have to traverse to get there, and each one of them has its own separate dangers. I just love this. It is compared to The Princess Bride a lot, and now I want to read The Princess Bride because I found this to be delightful. Coming in at number 3 is going to be A King's Bargain by J.D.L. Russell. I loved this book. I don't remember if I pulled this. I didn't pull this one. I did a vlog where I pulled out of my jars and I got this book. I own this one on audio. I loved it. I loved it. We are following this kid who has this farmer neighbor who has been there for like 5 years, and he has been his apprentice. And then a stranger comes to town and says, basically, the king has summoned you. And so the chicken farmer takes his apprentice with him, and they're journeying there. And then he finds out that things are not quite what they may seem. His chicken farmer neighbor may not just be a chicken farmer. And I really enjoyed the elements of the story. I enjoyed the characters. I loved this book. I love this book. I gave it 4 stars. The only reason this book did not get 5 stars for me is because the ending went a little bit too fast paced for me. I would have liked it a little bit more drawn out, but overall I really loved this. I love this story, and I would highly, highly recommend it. I loved it so much that there was a Kickstarter going on at the time, and I bought into that, because who doesn't like a beautiful copy of a book that they love? Coming in at number 2, I had 2 5-star reads this month. I did vlog both of these, so I will link it up in the cards or down below. But coming in at number 2 is going to be The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker, and I had this beautiful broken binding edition. I loved this book. I was hesitant going in because I'd heard some mixed reviews about it, but it stole my heart. So we have two main characters, and we have Mies and Joran, and Mies is just this mean old ship lady, and she takes over Joran's ship because he's not doing a very good job at managing his ship. They have a bone ship. The bone ships are made of prisoners, people that have done wrong things. And then one day, Mies and Joran get this mission, and they have to put this ragtag crew together in order to go on this mission. And I absolutely positively love the ragtag crew. I love the animal companion kind of characters in this story. I loved the story itself. I just fell in love with this, and I cannot wait to continue on. Coming in at number 1, I read, as part of my sequel jar this month, I finally did it. I read Lightbringer by Pierce Brown. Easy 5 stars. This is the 6th installment of the Red Rising series. We have one more installment after this, so I can't talk much about this, but I will tell you that this installment is my favorite installment of the series thus far. I was really worried. I was doing a reread. I wasn't liking the reread as much as I liked it on original read, but I think that's because it wasn't new to me, so all the shocking reveals that I found really compelling in the first read just didn't hit for me because I already knew what was going to happen. But this one, I didn't know what was going to happen, and I devoured it. I ate it up. I cried. I sobbed. I loved this story, and this is my favorite, and I cannot wait for Red God to come out. I do not know when it's going to come out, but I cannot wait because I will be sad that this story is coming to an end, but I'm ready to get my heart ripped out, which I know that will happen. That's a weird thing to say, that you like to get your heart ripped out, but it's true. It's true, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, that's what I read in September, and I have started off October just very wonderfully. So I'm hoping that that will continue to happen in the month of October. I will be vlogging. There will be some vlogs coming up. I did do some vlogging in September. Some of it I scrapped because I got a little bit sick, and some of it I scrapped because I just didn't like it. But there will be vlogs coming in October, and that's something to look forward to. Tell me what you guys read in the month of September. Have you read any of my books? How did you like it? Let me know. I will catch you guys later.